This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 18th day of August in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. As members of the disciplined forces prepare to cast their ballots this coming Friday, the Guyana Elections Commission is assuring that all systems are in place for the general and regional elections. A total of 10,481 members of the disciplined services, which includes the Guyana Defense Force, the Guyana Police Force, and the Guyana Prison Service, are scheduled to vote this Friday, ahead of the September 1 regional and general elections. In total, GECOM has announced that there are 757,690 persons listed on the voters' list for the upcoming elections. At a press conference this afternoon, Deputy Chief Election Officer Neil Giddings reported that all of the sensitive election material have arrived from Canada. He said the ballots for members of the disciplined services have been extracted and the ballot boxes prepared for distribution to the 83 balloting locations across the 10 electoral districts. He said the election machinery is well oiled and ready for the elections.
We are well poised for the conduct of these elections on Friday. All of the logistical arrangements have been made. At this point in time, there is nothing aside from maybe force majeure that can prevent such conduct.
Additionally, he disclosed that ballots have also been dispatched to 20 diplomatic missions abroad.
On the issue of non-resident electors balloting, we have enveloped some 92 ballots destined to, as I said, 20 missions abroad. All have since been dispatched to those missions. We have actually received today returns from 2 diplomatic missions, which are in the custody of the Chief Election Officer as required by law.
The Deputy Chief Election Officer addressed journalists in the presence of the Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad, the Logistics Manager Delon Clark, the Civic and Voter Education Manager Nardio Prasad, and the Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward. The Chairman of the Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, was absent from the briefing. The DCO's assurance that all systems are in place comes one day after representatives from the 6 political parties contesting the elections raised a long list of concerns. News source understands that the concerns ranged from the issues relating to the list of electors, the possibility of voter impersonation, and multiple voting by those to be issued with certificates of employment, to the limited time provided for applications for proxy. On the issue of categories of voters, the CEO said GECOM has had no reason to disaggregate the numbers to show the number of voters who are Commonwealth citizens or citizens by birth, naturalization, or descent.
We register persons who met the criteria of being 18 years and over by June 30th, who are Guyanese citizens or citizens from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Now, I started out by saying we register electors. We have no charge, no reason to categorize electors by nationality. That is not something that the Secretariat has been charged to do. We have not done so. And unless we are asked specifically to do so, then we have no grounds on which to do it.
He said it is not a case in which the Secretariat is unable to do so, but rather it has not been instructed to do so. With regards to the issuance of certificate of employment, reporters were told that to date the Elections Commission has not issued a single certificate of employment and is very cautious about the issuance. It was noted that a certificate of employment will only be issued in extreme cases, where polling day staff appointed by GECOM are required to work at a location that is far from its polling station. Weighing in on the issue, the Civic and Voter Education Manager explained that it would be difficult for anyone to vote twice due to the requirement that mandates voters to dip their index finger in indelible ink.
The right index finger is stained with indelible ink. So if that person with the certificate of employment votes at the polling station where he is working, his finger will be stained there. He is not supposed to leave that polling station for any extended period to get him to the other polling station at which he is listed to vote. But I'm suspecting that you're saying that if he does that, what happens? The mere fact that ink will be on that finger is an indication you can't vote here, and that's it.
And for the chief election officer, it will be virtually impossible for anyone to vote twice in the upcoming elections, unless there is collusion. More news coming up in just a moment.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Miss Shirley, help me out now, please. Why everyone telling me I must exercise my right to vote? Me ain't got time for that. Why must I vote?
Why must you vote? That is your constitutional right and civic duty, my child. Besides, think about this. Government officials make decisions that affect the well-being of you, your family, and community. By voting for a party of your choice, you will be electing the people who will be making these very important decisions. If you don't vote, then you will allow the people who vote to choose government officials without your input. Those others may not share your views about issues that matter to you.
Wait. Is so much voting means to me? And I done playing the fool? I definitely gonna vote on election day.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
In Guyana, roads don't give you a break, and neither should your truck. That's why there's the Isuzu D-Max, built with turbo diesel power, high clearance, and 4x4 control that owns the off-road. It's strong, smart, and tough enough for any job. The Isuzu D-Max is more than a pickup. It's your ultimate working partner. Available at Marix, the authorized Isuzu dealer. Call 226-1306 for more details. Isuzu D-Max, master of all roads.
The One Guyana Floating Production, Storage and Offloading Vessel has achieved first oil, marking another historic moment for our nation. With the Yellowtail project now in operation, production will eventually increase by 250,000 barrels per day, taking Guyana's national output capacity to over 900,000 barrels daily, the highest per capita in the world. This milestone means much more opportunities for Guyanese, from jobs in transport, engineering, and construction to new contracts for local businesses.
On the campaign trail now, President Irfan Ali on Sunday night announced a menu of measures for school children, pensioners, and those who benefit from public assistance. At a PPP Civic rally in the town of Lethem, the president announced that he intends to increase the Because We Care cash grant for students to $100,000 per year, and add a transportation grant of another $100,000 per year to that once he is re-elected to office. He has also promised to increase the old age pension to a minimum of $60,000 per month and increase the public assistance to a minimum of $40,000 per month also.
And we understand that the function of the economy, the performance of the economy, is closely correlated to the commitments we're making. That is why I'm telling you at a minimum, because once our economy performs at a higher than expected rate, then you can expect more benefits and expanded benefits coming to you, your children, and your families.
President Ali said the additional and increased grants will cost billions of dollars and will be outside of the free education and free healthcare that is already available to citizens and other government initiatives. He also said he wants all citizens to live a prosperous and fulfilling life in Guyana, and the government will therefore be making more investments in a number of key areas. The president noted that the bordering town of Lethem is expanding and growing at an unimaginable pace, and more support will be given to the town and its people, with more government services being expanded in the area once he is re-elected. Well, the presidential candidate of the APNU, Aubrey Norton, has outlined his party's plans to fix the country's power generation problem and ultimately end the power outages. During an interview this morning on 104.1 Light FM, Mr. Norton said although the government has made several interventions, including the rental of those 2 power ships, the power supply problem still continues.
And now the government come with power ship, something that you're not going to own. You are going to pay these people for the rest of your life. That to me reeks of corruption. We are going to take the approach of going back to that plan, adapting it and improving it, and ensuring that we put in place effective management that can manage the power company and take us out of this situation where there are blackouts.
The APNU presidential candidate told listeners that between 2015 and 2020, under the former APNU AFC government, the system was improved as a result of a plan to increase power generation, improve distribution lines, and project the country's future power needs. However, he believes at the heart of the country's power generation problems today is the management of the power company. He said the current government has taken an approach not to hire persons with skills to fix the power company, but continues instead to hire those who he said are politically connected.
We're not going to do that. We want professional people to run something like GPL and ensure that it's efficient and effective. David Patterson is not on the APNU list, he's AFC, but I don't see us excluding him from playing a role because he has the knowledge. And so we will take a professional approach to GPL to ensure that the people of Guyana see no more blackouts in this country.
According to the APNU leader, the government's inability to get the gas energy project off the ground years after it was scheduled for completion is further compounding the country's energy generation problems. He said the project, which was at the planning stage during the APNU AFC's government, should have been long completed.
If you consider this project to be so important and that you had averred view that it's going to bring down the cost of electricity by 50%, then you should have known that if it doesn't meet the timeline, almost automatically, every day that it extends, the cost will go up, and that will end up being paid by the consumers of electricity and taxpayers. So the government, by its incompetence, would have already removed the possibility of us having the electricity bill by their inability to competently manage the construction of the oil and gas project.
Mr. Norton also said the APNU will introduce an electricity subsidy of $10,000 per household and improve the Public Utilities Commission as part of a broader intervention to ensure that the power company functions effectively. Still on the campaign trail, pointing out that Guyana now earns about $1.5 billion per day from oil production, leader of the Alliance for Change and presidential candidate Nigel Hughes said he believes the country's high poverty level in the face of so much resources is unacceptable. Addressing his party's public meeting in Linden over the weekend, Mr. Hughes said the government has been promising to pump monies into different sectors and to increase grants, but has not outlined a plan to address poverty.
The World Health Organization, them don't take bribe from Guyana, says that 48% of us is living in poverty. You understand? We making oil for 5 years, brothers and sisters. 5 years. And 48% of us, by any international standard, is living in poverty. But let me give you the killer statistic, if you think that bad. The World Health Organization can't bribe them and tell them it's census and so. Says that 20% of our children living in extreme food poverty. You understand that? That means they ain't getting the basic minimum nutrients on any given day.
The AFC leader said although those figures were published back in 2023, the reality of many Guyanese remained the same or has worsened.
If after 3 years of us making oil at a commercial level at $65 million a day, we can't get rid of extreme food poverty. In other words, we can't even feed our own children 2 basic meals with the necessary nutritional value. How on earth can the party that has us in this position come and tell you they should get any vote at all?
Hughes also linked the high poverty levels to the poor CSEC results in some communities, saying that it's a direct impact on children sitting those examinations. He said the effect of that would mean that many of those students will not find decent jobs and be able to properly contribute to the country's development.
Pay attention, brothers and sisters. See what the system doing to you? They left you in food poverty. You're hungry, you can't learn, you can't qualify, so you can't get the good jobs. And this means that in the oil economy, brothers and sisters, it don't close down. So the foreigners have to come in the country to provide the skilled and semi-skilled labor that we were supposed to be providing.
In asking Linden for its support, the Alliance for Change leader said the town has been politically persecuted and prosecuted simply because they did not vote for the PPP. He said citizens must remember that when they head to the polls.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Monday, September 1, 2025 is Election Day. It is your constitutional right to vote at the elections, provided you are listed in the official list of electors. As a voter, you have certain rights. Example, the right to attend political meetings and rallies, know the various political parties and their stance on important national issues. Vote as your conscience tells you. You also have responsibilities which include voting only once for the general election and once for the regional election, respecting the voting rights of other electors, doing nothing to obstruct the election process, Vote early on election day for the political party of your choice. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
You never vote neither. So you don't know if anybody gonna know which party you vote for.
Not because I never vote. I know that when I vote, nobody can see which party I voting for.
Why should I believe you? You.
Let me help you with something, young man. The young lady is correct. The freedom to vote for a political party of your own choice on election day is yours. Nobody will know which political party you voted for. Once you would have marked your ballot paper and folded it as directed, nobody will see which political party you would have voted for after you would have placed your ballot paper in the ballot box. You're guaranteed that your vote will remain a secret.
Oh, thanks, big man. For sure, I'm gonna vote on election day. Now to feel confident that nobody will know which party I'm going to vote for.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Well, the We Invest in Nationhood Party is calling on the commercial banks that closed the accounts of its candidates to restore those accounts. The call has been made by party officials following a correspondence from the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, which instituted sanctions back in 2024 against Azruddin Mohammed and Nazar Mohammed and their businesses, along with Government Permanent Secretary May Thomas. Azruddin Mohammed is the presidential candidate of the WIN Party. In a correspondence from OFAC to the attorneys representing WIN, the U.S. agency, in response to a query, stated that the implications of transacting with a political party led by an individual sanctioned by OFAC or with members of such a political party would depend on whether the sanctioned individual is involved in the transaction. The correspondence further stated that U.S. financial institutions would not violate sanctions for maintaining the account or processing a transaction involving a non-sanctioned organization or non-sanctioned members of that organization, solely because another member of that organization is sanctioned. The correspondence went on to state that U.S. financial institutions would be prohibited from engaging in such transactions if the sanctioned individual has an interest in the accounts or transactions. OFAC said unless exempt or otherwise authorized by a general or specific license from OFAC, transactions with sanctioned persons by U.S. persons are generally prohibited, and non-U.S. persons could also face sanctions risk for certain activities involving sanctioned persons, such as providing material support to them. OFAC also said it will not direct any entity to conduct activity that undermines its policies and procedures. In a statement on social media, WIN Party member Hannah Mohammed said the correspondence from OFAC makes it clear that the sanctions against Mr. Mohammed do not extend to other WIN officials. She said financial institutions acted outside the scope of U.S. regulations by targeting non-sanctioned candidates. Closing their accounts was political victimization, she said, not any compliance with U.S. law. She also said that banks had no legal grounds and must immediately restore those accounts, as financial institutions must act in accordance with the official guidance from OFAC. In the past month, at least 3 commercial banks have closed the accounts of persons who have appeared as candidates on the approved nomination candidates list of the WIN Party. In many of those instances, the affected persons said they were told by at least one bank that the closure of the account was related to the bank's internal policies. Some of the banks have pointed to the 2024 sanctions against Azruddin Mohammed, who is the presidential candidate for the Win Party. 19-year-old jockey Kishon Pereira lost his life tragically last evening at the Guyana Cup horse race meet in Berbice when he fell from his horse during a race and was trampled. The riderless horse later crossed the finish line as medical teams rushed to assist the young man, who was rushed by ambulance to a nearby hospital but was later pronounced dead. It is suspected that the teenager suffered multiple injuries when he fell and was later trampled on the track. Horse race lovers were already complaining about the condition of the track and the poor lights when the tragedy took place. The race was taking place after 6 p.m. with very poor lighting on the track that was already left muddy by the day's heavy rains. It is believed that the horse might have tripped while traversing the track at top speed, pitching the young jockey to his death. A full investigation has been launched.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes. Plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude or Viva. Find the code starting with BB. Then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details.
Live the island dream, get money. Live the island dream.
What's going on here, man? Why the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man been in we house and thief all we valuables, including we ID card. Now election come around and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. Now we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GECOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GECOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have the ID cards.
But how they gonna do that? How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GECOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get for vote?
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region.
Senior police officers in Trinidad and Tobago say the arrest of several Trinidadian men and a Venezuelan national at sea who were allegedly on their way to collect a shipment of guns and illegal drugs bound for the Twin Island Republic is being viewed as a major breakthrough in the fight against crime. Sunday, senior intelligence officials confirmed the authenticity of a video circulating on social media showing the arrest of what appeared to be at least 5 TNT nationals by Venezuelan security forces aboard a vessel intercepted in international waters. The incident, which occurred around August 13 or 14, is now being linked to the broader transnational criminal networks currently under scrutiny as part of the ongoing state of emergency. Commissioner of Police Alesta Guavaro confirmed the arrest to Guardian Media on Sunday. The commissioner did not reveal exactly how many TNT nationals were on the vessel and arrested. Local intelligence officials said the group comprising TNT nationals and the Venezuelan operative was en route to collect a large shipment of narcotics and firearms destined for TNT. The arrest is being directly linked to a broader criminal syndicate that remains under active surveillance. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has assured Barbadians that the government will not allow warrantless wiretapping as part of a broader package of crime-fighting legislation. Speaking during an address to the nation last night, Mottley said the controversial clause in the Interception of Communications Bill, which would have allowed certain communications to be intercepted without a judge's warrant, will be removed from the bill when it goes to the Senate. Mottley explained, and I quote, "Let me be crystal clear. This is not a free-for-all, and this is not a minister's toy. No politician can grant a warrant. Only the Chief Justice or a judge specifically assigned by him can authorize an interception." End of quote. She added, and I quote, "The warrant is time-bound. Irrelevant material gathered must be destroyed. There is an independent monitoring mechanism appointed by the President of Barbados to oversee how the power is used." End of quote. The bill is part of 5 measures currently before Parliament, including the Criminal Proceedings Bill, Police Amendment Bill, Firearms Amendment Bill, and the Juries Bill, aimed at tackling organized crime, illegal guns, and criminal networks. And finally tonight, international news. President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of unleashing cynical attacks on Ukrainian civilians that he said were designed to undermine his talks with U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington today, according to Reuters. Officials in Ukraine said a drone attack on a residential complex in the northern city of Kharkiv killed at least 7 people, including a 1-year-old girl. Strikes also hit a southeastern city, killing 3 people, they said. This was a demonstrative and cynical Russian strike, Zelensky wrote on X. He added, and I quote, "The Russian war machine continues to destroy lives despite everything, and Putin will commit demonstrative killings to maintain pressure on Ukraine and Europe, as well as to humiliate diplomatic efforts." End of quote. After rolling out the red carpet for Russian President Vladimir Putin at a summit in Alaska on Friday, Trump is leaning on Ukraine to accept a peace deal to end Europe's deadliest war in 80 years. The war has killed or wounded more than 1 million people from both sides, including thousands of mostly Ukrainian civilians, according to analysts. Kiev and its allies worry that Trump would force an agreement more favorable to Moscow. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Swatlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.